man, this team stinks. Man United stink. We've had humiliations this season, right? That game was not humiliation. That game was just a dose of reality, a double shot of reality. It really feels like this Manchester United team are so far away from the top. My God, I look red in the face after watching that game, and it's just... yeah, that's what that game was. All right, Erik ten Hag decided to do what I think he should have done quite a long time ago this season. Was that a game where we really threatened Arsenal? No. Was that a game where Arsenal needed to get out of second gear? No. Man United offered pretty much zero threat. But at the very least, we had some sort of semblance of shape over large portions of that game. And if we had done that more across these last 2 months, it wouldn't have been such a humiliating end to this season. But that game there was just, as I said, it feels like the top is so far away from this team. Can that all change in the summer? No. Not in my opinion. But one thing that absolutely has to change, and it's just, honestly, it's painful. And I take zero pleasure in this. But Casemiro is just wilting in front of our eyes and has been all season. But that wasn't even really a wilt, that first goal. All right, first 20 minutes of that game, Man United had that compact shape. Rabat playing there, I'm going to speak about him later in the game. I know he's not the perfect player or a great player, but he should have been playing more this season. I'll explain why. But that there from Casemiro, he dropped deep to get the ball from Onana. The ball went long. Casemiro just ambles out. You can see how far up the defensive line is. Sprint back into shape. Sprint. That's all you got to do. That is nothing but a lack of... Oh, but he doesn't normally play that position. Sod that, man. You can see your defensive line in front of you. You've won multiple Champions Leagues. You are the most experienced player in this squad. But instead, you just amble back. And it's just a reflection of where he is mentally. To do that sprint in a season where the league's gone. It doesn't really matter if United win or lose this game. And that's how Casemiro played with that moment there. It's just inexcusable. And Man United as a team, our setup was better in that game. And Rabat was a reason for it. Is he the answer? Did I over-exaggerate how good he was? Maybe I did. I didn't mean to do it on purpose, by the way. But I looked at the profile of a player who I know that when he's in the team, we're not going to play like we're playing basketball. We're going to play with a bit more security. We're going to actually be able to knock the ball around a bit more. Now, Arsenal sat off us. They gave us space. We hardly exploited it because a certain Bruno Fernandes wasn't playing, and we had nobody in that team who was willing to take on that final ball. But starting Amrabat there actually gave us some semblance of control, which isn't really saying much. Let's be totally honest. We were garbage in that game, really apart from one player, Ahmad. And again, there's going to be people saying, why hasn't Ahmad been starting a lot more this season? The reason that Ahmad hasn't been playing is because he's a different type of player to this transitional, both of them, Amrabat and Ahmad, kind of not really go against it, but they don't fit into this explosive, transitional basketball style of football. They slow it down a bit more. They're more interested in having the ball to their feet. They're more interested in using a little bit more technical quality to slow the game down and find gaps in teams that way. And that's why neither of them have played this season. And Ten Hag's made a big mistake, in my opinion, in not playing them more this season. Would it have transformed our season? No, but tell you what, we wouldn't have got punched in the face so much. And United without Bruno Fernandes, yeah. I mean, United with Bruno Fernandes wasn't that much better today. Can I just say quickly, Old Trafford sounded class. It kind of sounded like a defiance from Old Trafford. Will Never Die was ringing out. Spirit in the Sky was ringing out. It felt defiant more than anything. And this team doesn't really have any sort of defiance in it. But Bruno, United without Bruno, and there's going to be a lot of people here after that game today having a go at Garnacho. His decision-making was poor. His final product was poor. But point out to me anybody else in that pitch who was willing to take a semblance of responsibility in delivering a final ball. And there was nobody else. His product was way off. That's what happens when you look at a 19-year-old to be the only player in your attack who's willing to take any sort of responsibility on his shoulders. So often we had the ball in dangerous positions and it was just like, man, well, can you pass it in? Can you pass it in? And then it ended up being Casemiro just lumping it to the back post and it leading to absolutely nothing. But that game there today is not a game where I'm going to come away with huge amounts of anger. Huge amounts of, we just got humiliated again. It was just like, well, there we are. Here we are. That's us right now. Of course, injuries have played a huge part of it. I cannot believe what I saw there with Casemiro. You knew that Casemiro starting today. If Cambuala was fit for the full 90, he would have started. And maybe Casemiro would have went to the bench. And Casemiro lasted the full 90, so that tells you that Johnny Evans wasn't match fit. But to not sprint, and this is the thing, right? Football fans will forgive a lot of teams if they can see that those players are putting 100% in. Because then at the end of the game, you can go, well, we gave it our all. It just wasn't quite enough, which was pretty much always going to be the case there against an Arsenal team which has got, the best defensive record in Europe? It's no surprise they kept a clean sheet, but they didn't have to work hard whatsoever. As I said, Garnacho was the only player in our attack who was trying something. And it just, as I said, it feels far away. But you want to take a positive out of today? Didn't really happen on that pitch. It happened at Wembley. Congratulations to the women's team for winning their first ever FA Cup. Massive achievement for them in a time when Manchester United's first team is just wavering. And that's me being polite. Jim Ratcliffe and Dave Brailsford and Jason Wilcox were all at Old Trafford today. I think Glazer was at Wembley and some Ineos representatives too. They're looking at this. Ratcliffe, Brailsford and Wilcox going, man, we are far off. We are far off. And we are far off. Would the injuries have made a substantial difference to this season? Yep. They absolutely would have. But something, and this is the thing that I have always been annoyed at with Erik ten Hag, is that setup there today. Was it, it's not United. No, we were more compact. And in a team where you're missing your best centre-back, you've got players out of form, you've got injuries galore, you sometimes got to close up a little bit. You sometimes have to accept that your ultimate ambition of being that incredible, world-class, best in the world transitional team isn't going to quite work. So rein it in a bit. Try and be more defensively resolute and attack it from that option. But instead, Erik ten Hag has gone the complete opposite, doubled down on our NBA style of football, and it's just been humiliating. And that there was just, as I said, not a humiliation there against Arsenal today. They're in a title race on the last day. City are going to win it anyway. 4 in a fucking row. Just end this season, man. Well, we've got the FA Cup final. Man, this season's going to go down in the record books for all the wrong reasons. There's not really much more you can say. It's not a humiliation. It's not a battering. It's just, that's Manchester United right now. We're a mid-table team.